Can you hear me?
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 Can you
Can you hear me?
Can you
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Can you
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Sometimes I feel I don't have a voice.
I have things to say, thoughts, ideas.
But no one seems interested in hearing them.
You think you know who I am, what I think.
But can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I am Native American. Our people were here long before the Europeans came.
We were strong in numbers and in culture.
Today, some of us live on 326 reservations, not our native lands, places we were taken to against our wills.
And forced to live on, set aside and forgotten.
I'm an African American. I'm African by heritage, but not by experience.
I do not always feel very American. I am not sure I want to identify with being American. I am Black.
This is what I feel. This is what you see.
I am an Asian American, which means most of the time I am neither Asian nor American.
I am American by citizenship and Asian by heritage, but it is hard to identify with either, for neither group seems to welcome or accept me.
I am Latina. Am I Mexican, Peruvian, Costa Rican, Chilean, Cuban? Are you willing to find out? Or do you think it's all the same? Some of us have been here generations, some just a few years. It's hard to get to know us, especially if you don't even try.
My ancestors were brought here as chattel, property. They had no rights, no voice, no identity.
Many of our women were used as sex slaves. It is a brutal history that we all like to forget, but is a history that still affects us today.
There is an odd balance in American society of being intrigued by Native Americans and our culture, while being completely ignorant to who we actually are.
They love our feather headdresses. Our Indian fry bread is a must-try, and our warrior spirit makes for a great mascot. It's as if the image of Native Americans is history, that we are no longer relevant in America today. Most people rarely think about us.
Who are we? We're a multitude of people with a multitude of histories. Some of us were here before Europeans arrived. At that time, they were the immigrants. Today, we are seen as outsiders. What makes us different from others who immigrated here? Is it our brown skin?
Have you ever looked around your campus and realized almost all your professors are white, while almost all the genders are Black? Did this just happen? It did not just happen. It's been 400 years in the making.
Do you know that Native people die at higher rates than other Americans from tuberculosis? 600% higher. Alcoholism, 510% higher.
Suicide, 62% higher.
Latinos are 2 times as likely to have asthma, 6 times as likely to have tuberculosis. We are 15% more likely to have liver disease.
In general, our babies die 2.5 times as often as white newborns, and we suffer disproportionately from a variety of cancers as compared to whites.
Native youth have the highest rate of suicide among all ethnic groups in the U.S.
Disparities such as these have reasons. Disparities. That seems to be the word that defines us.
Expectation is the word that defines us.
Sure, it's the food we eat and the lifestyle we lead that causes some of our health problems.
It's also the kind of healthcare we receive.
Or don't receive.
These flow from our history. I bet you don't know that 45% of African American children under the age of 6 live in poverty. 45%. That's almost half.
Poverty is the root of our health problems. Poverty keeps us from getting adequate healthcare, prenatal healthcare, and early screenings.
I have seen firsthand many of the problems of the reservation. I have seen them in my own family: alcoholism, time served, health problems, and poverty. The landscape of the reservation is harsh. Some live without running water, electricity, and most of our roads are unpaved. Summer rains and winter storms make our roads impassable.
Sometimes when we share facts and statistics like this, white people think we are attacking them. We're not trying to make anyone feel bad. We're just sharing our own story.
This misunderstanding is one of the things that keeps us unheard. We don't share things because we feel no one really wants to hear it.
And so we stay ignorant.
Truth is, we are all a bit ignorant. I am just as ignorant to other minorities' experiences as they are of mine. We all know about white American history, culture, and experience. We don't have a choice but to know.
It is what is taught, and if we don't excel in it, we don't succeed.
We all must assimilate. Even in Kyle, at times when I talk about what I love, I feel judged or rejected, even though there's nothing wrong with these things. I end up adjusting the way I talk to start making friends and not be judged. I have many good friends who I love and love me, but I've had to conceal part of myself to do so.
Being a res kid means being different. It means a life with very limited opportunities. These opportunities are in the white world, and I had to go out into this world, in town, to find them. There I faced the stereotypes that we are lazy, uneducated, and uncivilized. It led me to ignore the culture and seek to be like them.
Assimilation. That's what makes you successful. That's what makes us hide in plain sight. If you don't even know we are Latinos. Hey, if we're not brown, maybe we aren't Latinos. What is a Latino anyway?
Identity?
That's a hard one.
What makes us who we are?
Is it our skin color?
Is it our culture? Seems like we are in a society where media views us as capable of only being a video vixen, an athlete, in prison, and at the very least on welfare.
While some people do lead these lifestyles, that is not all we can do. When some of us don't fit these stereotypes, people are shocked. And God forbid we are educated and feel like we have something important to say. It feels as if no one wants to take us seriously.
They would rather capitalize on our weaknesses and ignore our strengths.
I feel unappreciated, unwanted, unheard, unwanted. Yep, that's how we feel. This past year, this election, it's been made very clear to us that many do not want us here.
The past few years have been terrible for us. Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Eric Gardner, Alton Sterling. So many names. I feel we as Black people are being targeted.
Although my protection is found in Jesus, I still wonder if I'm safe, if my brothers or my dad are safe. Do you know me? Do you know about my life?
It's not like your life. Find out what African Americans have experienced and what we are experiencing.
Don't be too quick to speak. Listen, hear us.
Safety is not something we have had much of since Christopher Columbus got lost and found our lands. But we're still here. Though small in number, we continue to endure. We are enduring people because we have to be.
All lives matter? This is just another way of telling us to shut up, don't complain, don't bring up the truth.
Anyone who knows even a little history knows our lives have not had much value. Truth is, they still don't.
But when we try to point that out, try to affirm that Black lives do matter, we are told once again, be quiet.
Stay silent.
Stay unheard.
What gives life value? In many Asian families, everything seems based on performance. If we do well, we are loved. If not, then... Many of us suffer from an extreme level of shame when experiencing failure, and at times it makes us not really want to apply ourselves. We desperately want to be loved for who we are and not a performance.
Being loved for who you are, everybody wants that. I found that in Jesus and in a strong community. I may not always feel understood and heard, but I do find a level of acceptance.
It's wonderful to know the gospel and its transforming power. I want my people to know that. But the history of Christian missionaries among natives is tainted. So many abuses.
When I came to college, I didn't really have a strong ethnic identity. In the Chi Alpha community, I found a level of acceptance and love that really drew me in. People asked more about my culture, not in an ignorant way that made me feel belittled and ashamed, but in a genuine way. They really wanted to know more.
You don't realize the power you have. You can be an instrument of God's love and acceptance, or you can just treat us like the world does, unimportant, unwanted, unheard.
Listening is powerful. You don't have to know everything. You don't even have to understand everything.
In our grief and our pain, it's nice to have those who will mourn and weep with you.
Those who will just listen.
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 Would you listen?